Hello everyone, Amod here from the Target Common YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial we are going to learn about method overriding concept in Java and how we can use that in our web API or mobile automation framework. So suppose we have already existing web automation framework created using Selenium WebDriver Java, and in that framework we have a class which contains customized Selenium keyword. For example, we have a method something called perform click, and that method performs some basic check before clicking, like it checks whether element is visible or not. Element should be clickable, and then it is performing click, and also it prints some logger statement or report related stuff. So generally frameworks should be reusable. If someone has created the web automation framework in your company, then multiple projects should be able to use that. In most of the companies, this automation framework is shared using a jar file, or it is uploaded into a nexus from where you can download and use in your project. And if something is changed in the automation framework, then it will be impacted for all the project. Now suppose in your project you have some different kind of web elements. For example, if you're trying to perform a click on a web element, so it is not happening in one attempt, so you need to retry it after some time. So obviously you might have some method where you can wait for it and perform retry, but you want that whatever existing click method we have in automation framework, that should only perform this stuff instead of calling the click method again. Obviously there might be some different ways, but I am just creating a scenario here. So now you have two options. First option, you modify the click method in your automation framework, but that will impact all other projects. Other option you have, you create your own method. So suppose I am going to create a simple class like my Selenium control, and here I am going to have a method like public void perform click, and you are taking the web element as a argument. I don't have the same dependency, so let me put the string just for the example, and I will have simple sys out like this is my method, and then I will have sys out click once, another sys out click again, something. And suppose we have already framework class which is coming from your automation framework, so I don't have different library here, but I'm going to create another class here like framework controls, and here also I have the similar method, but this method does not click twice. So I'm going to remove that sys out, and I will just change this one like this is framework method. So this class is coming from automation framework, and this you have created. Now we know the reason why we have created. Now let's use them in our test script. So I will create another class test script. These all are dummy code, and in the framework controls I may have multiple different methods like public void perform typing. It will also take some element and text, and I will have simple sys out. Right now in the test script I will have a main method. So now I have two actions to do. First thing, I need to click on a web element. Another, I need to perform typing. So to perform the typing, I need to call the method from my framework class. So I'm going to create an object of framework controls. I will use framework controls dot perform typing. I will just pass some element and some parameters here. Now I want to perform click, and we know that I cannot use the click method provided by your automation framework. So I need to create an object of my class where I have written the custom logic to perform click. So I'm going to create another object of my Selenium control, and here I'm going to call the click method. So we have solved the problem, but here we are creating two objects, one object of framework control, another object of my Selenium controls, and whatever test script classes you are creating, you need to have these objects there. And also you need to inform everyone we have created some custom methods, so you need to use this class. So let's think, do we have any way so that in our my Selenium controls class only we have all the methods from my automation framework class, and also whatever method I want to change I can do that? Yes, we can do. So we need two things here. First thing, inheritance. So any class can extend another class. So I'm going to use the extends keyword, and I am going to call framework control. So what will happen, whatever members we have in this class, we have some exceptions, but don't think about that. Whatever members we have in this framework controls class, those things will be automatically inherited or part of my this class, my Selenium control. So here it is called parent class, this is called child class. Let me prove my point. So I'll go to my test script, and I'm going to comment this framework controls, and let me copy this, in fact cut it from here and paste below. So here instead of framework control object, I am going to call my Selenium controls and paste here. You can see there's no error because in my Selenium controls class we have the methods inherited from framework control class as well. Now you will be thinking, in the framework controls we have already one method perform click, here also we have method perform click, and we have the same number of argument as well. So in previously I have told that we cannot have two methods with same signature in the same class, it is violating that rule? No, this is not violating. If I just duplicate this method and paste it again, this is called violation. We cannot have two methods with same name and signature in the same class. But perform click, which is in framework control class that inherited in my subclass. So this is called actually method overriding. This implementation of perform click will override implementation defined in my framework control. But that is not the case always. It depends upon how we are calling it. That I will cover just now. But now you got the difference. Here we are doing the inheritance, and if any method with the same name and signature is inherited to the child class, that will not be considered as overloading but overriding. So in which case we can use the overriding? If you don't want to use the implementation provided in superclass or parent class and you want to change the behavior, then you can inherit it and you can write your own logic. Now let's see some basic concepts related to method overriding. So here, suppose I'm going to create an object of framework controls class first, and let me call the method framework controls dot perform typing. Let me pass abc and some value. Then we have framework control dot perform click and let me pass some value. So in this framework controls class, in the perform click method, we are printing this one. So using this logger statement, we can understand whether it is called from framework controls or it is calling from my system control. So let me go and run this program and let's see what it is printing. So it is printing typed, which is coming from your framework controls here. Then it is calling click method and it is printing this is framework method and then click once. So now you might be thinking, I just said that the implementation of perform click method has been overridden. Then it should have called this implementation, but why it is calling framework controls implementation? So here's a trick. In the test script, we are creating an object of superclass and we are storing into same type. That means framework control. So here it does not know about my same control or whoever is inheriting that class. Since we've created an object of this class, so obviously the whatever implementation is defined in this class, it will be called or it will be used. Let me comment this one and let me call my selenium control and create an object of it and replace the object name. And if I run this method now, it is going to call the click method from my selenium control. So what is happening? We are creating an object of subclass. So in this subclass, this will have the method coming from framework controls as well. So from here we'll have these two methods and here we have already one method. But for this method, it will be always override the implementation defined here if we create an object of subclass and use that. We have another case possible here. Means you can create an object of your subclass or child class, but you can upcast this object. That means instead of storing this reference into the same type, you can upcast it. That means you can store into framework controls class. This is called upcasting. When you write WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, we are doing upcasting. But reverse we cannot do. We cannot create an object of superclass and store into subclass. If you have this case, then what do you think? Which implementation it will be called? Let me run and show you. So you can see it is called from your subclass. So this object have two methods. One method coming from your parent class, another we have overridden. So it is calling the overridden method. It does not matter where you are storing it. Let's see some basic of method overriding. So if you want to override the method, then make sure that you have the same name and signature. If you have something like perform click one, then this will be considered as a different method. It is not method overriding. And if you go and change the number of parameters or type of parameters or order of parameters, then also it will not be considered as method overriding. You need to have the same name and signature. Here we have defined the perform click method with the public key. So while overriding, either we need to use the same one or wider one. We cannot use the narrower one. That means we cannot use the private here. It will complain. Or we cannot use the protected because these all are restricted compared to public. But here if you have protected, then here you can have protected or you can have public. You cannot have private. So the concept is the access modifier of the overriding method in the subclass cannot be more restrictive than the access modifier of the method in the superclass. In the framework control class, for the perform click method, we are using the return type as void. So in the subclass also, to override, we need to use the same type or we can use the subtype. So let me go and change something like number instead of void and let me return 1. I need to remove the double quote because that will be string. Now to override, we cannot use void. I can use the same return type, or I can use the subtype of it. So we can use integer because integer is the subclass of number. Then here also I need to return something because it is not void. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.